Immortality didn't save Loki from this brutal punishment. Even the gods of Asgard, with all their might and wisdom, knew that Loki was not an ordinary trickster. He was clever, dangerous, and unpredictable, a being whose mischief had turned allies into enemies and had shattered trust in the very halls of the gods. His schemes had caused chaos and suffering, but nothing could compare to the gravity of what he had done this time. The death of Baldr, the beloved god of light, peace, and joy, had ignited a firestorm of anger among the deities. Baldr's demise was a tragedy of immense proportions, one that had left Asgard mourning, trembling, and desperate for retribution. Every god, from Odin the All-Father to Thor, the thunder-wielding sun, knew that Loki had to answer for this, and the punishment they devised would be unlike any other in the history of the gods. Loki, for all his cunning, had outwitted many before, and he might have escaped accountability for lesser crimes. Yet this transgression was unforgivable. Baldr's death was not just a mischief or a joke, it was the ultimate betrayal. Loki's actions had brought grief to every corner of Asgard, and now the gods were united in their resolve to capture him. It began quietly as Loki attempted to hide, to move unseen among mortals and gods alike, yet his trail was unmistakable. Every trick he had ever played left a mark, and the all-seeing Odin could track him no matter where he went.
Unveil the legends.
The day of reckoning arrived when the gods, guided by Odin's wisdom and Thor's unstoppable force, cornered Loki. He tried to escape, darting between shadows, shifting forms, twisting reality with his shape-shifting abilities, but the gods anticipated his every move. Loki's cleverness, which had always been his advantage, was now his undoing, for even the trickster cannot escape the consequences of his gravest deeds. With a final, cunning snarl, Loki was subdued, caught in a net woven of magical ropes that no mortal or god could break. His limbs were bound, his body restrained, and his immortal strength was rendered powerless against the enchantments that held him. But the gods did not stop at mere chains. They knew that Loki's punishment must be eternal, a torment that would match the fear, anger, and betrayal he had sown. They dragged him to a remote cavern in the far reaches of the world, a place isolated from the eyes of mortals and gods alike. There they bound him to 3 heavy stones, each chained with the strongest magic of the dwarves, unbreakable by force or cunning. Loki struggled, his body twisting, his voice rising in defiance, yet the chains held firm. He was helpless, a god brought low, a trickster stripped of his power and pride. The severity of the punishment reflected not only the crime, but also the necessity of restraining chaos itself, for Loki's freedom had become a danger to the entire cosmos. The gods' punishment did not end with chains alone. Above Loki, they positioned a venomous serpent, one whose poison dripped with relentless precision. The venom fell slowly, inexorably, onto his face, burning, searing, and inflicting pain that was as unending as it was excruciating. Loki's immortal nature did not spare him from suffering. The venom was designed to torment his mind and body simultaneously. Every drop was a reminder of his betrayal, a reflection of the destruction he had wrought upon Asgard, and a message to all that even the cleverest of gods is subject to justice. Yet, even in this torment, a sliver of mercy appeared, embodied in Sigyn, Loki's devoted wife. Her loyalty and love for him defied the fury of the gods. She held the bowl above Loki's face, catching the venom as best as she could, shielding him from the worst of its effects. Every time she moved to empty the bowl, venom would fall, forcing Loki to writhe and scream in pain. Yet even the slightest reprieve brought moments of relief, enough for him to endure the unendurable. Sigyn's devotion was extraordinary, a rare glimmer of tenderness in a punishment designed to break spirit and body alike. Her presence was both a comfort and a reminder that even amidst suffering, loyalty and love could still persist. Despite the agony, Loki's mind remained sharp. He was a trickster after all, and his cunning had always been his strongest weapon. In between screams and the relentless pain of the venom, Loki uttered curses and prophecies that would haunt the gods for eternity. He spoke of Ragnarok, the end of the gods, the twilight of the mighty Asgardian world, and the fires that would consume the heavens. His voice, filled with hatred and foresight, carried a terrifying clarity that the gods could not ignore. The punishment that bound him was absolute, yet his influence persisted. Loki's words were not merely threats. They were visions of a future in which the very order he had disturbed would collapse. Every god who listened knew that this binding was not the end of Loki's power, for even in chains his cunning and malice could shape destiny. The venom and the rocks could restrain his body, but they could not silence the mind of the god who had become the embodiment of chaos. In that cavern, the trickster god became both prisoner and prophet, a living warning that no act of injustice could ever be forgotten or ignored. Remains bound, chained by magic and stone, with venom dripping steadily, and Sigyn's unwavering loyalty offering fleeting relief. His punishment is eternal, yet his presence lingers in the world in stories, prophecies, and the whispers of gods and mortals alike. The binding of Loki is more than a tale of retribution. It is a lesson in the balance of chaos and order, in the consequences of cunning without conscience, and in the inescapable reach of justice, even for those who are immortal. Even now, the prophecy he spoke continues to echo across the 9 realms, a chilling reminder that the end of all things is inevitable, and that the cleverest among us can never truly escape the consequences of our actions. And so the story of Loki's binding remains one of the most haunting, dramatic, and timeless myths of Norse legend, a story of power, betrayal, suffering, and prophecy that still captivates the imagination of anyone who dares to explore the shadowy depths of Asgard. This was the tale of Loki's binding, a story of how even immortality could not save the god of mischief from the weight of his deeds, and how the consequences of chaos can ripple through eternity. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to follow more tales from mythology where gods, monsters, and tricksters shape the fate of worlds. And remember, the greatest trick may not always be laughter. It may be a warning whispered through time.